Hello, everybody. First off, thank you for joining me. And secondly, I just want to apologize sincerely, seriously, you guys, from the bottom of my heart. I am so sorry that it has been this long since I have sat down to film. I will explain as we get ready for the day. Wife life, mom life, the whole thing. So I did want to just sit down and apologize first off. So we're just going to sit down and get ready for the day. If you guys are curious about the products that I'm using, I will do my best to list them in the description box below. I might throw in, what I'm using, or if you happen to see it, in the screen. So we're just going to sit down and get ready for our day. If you guys hear any extra noises, it's a Friday, my kids are home, and I'll explain that in a second. And this is just my life. So I've tried to sit down every single day this week to film, and it just has not happened. Something has always come up, and it's just, yeah. Anyway, so I've got my hot cocoa with me, and it's cold where I'm at. So, it's wintertime, so let's be real. So, I've already done my brows because brows are boring to watch, in my opinion. I do use the, oh, I can't find it now. There it is. I used the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I use that just to kind of shape the underside of my brow. And then I use their new Lift and Snatch Brow Tint pen to fill in the rest of it. I love this, you guys. It has got like the most precise little tip right there to do like the perfect little brow hairs. And I love that. I saw a couple of months ago some other products. I don't remember the brands. They were higher end brands. I think it was Benefit, actually, now that I think about it. And I'm sure Anastasia and other brands have that kind of a pen. And I really was curious. I really did want to try it, but I couldn't pull the trigger. I didn't, it's not anything that I needed. And I'm trying to be better about buying. It's makeup. I know I don't need it because I have a lot of palettes. We'll go through palettes another time. So it's not anything that I needed. I'm trying to use what I have. But when I saw a more affordable brow pen, I had to jump on it because I really wanted to try it. I just put on the Soft Focus Glow Illuminating Ultimate Glow Primer by Rodial. I got this in a BoxyCharm. So I like putting that on. So like I said, I'm trying to use what I already have. And I guess I kind of my own little hypocrite with that because I do get my BoxyCharm every month. So that gives me more products to try. So I really should just be, probably should just cancel my subscription while I use what I have, but I don't always use every single product in my BoxyCharm. Sometimes I give it to one of my sisters or one of my daughters, depending on the product. Anyway, don't worry, we're gonna cover these dark circles. Like I said, I already put on that primer. I just put on some more of the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. This is really close to the Benefit Professional. I love using that because I have larger pores on my nose. What I'm using right now, this is by Tony Moly. I love their packaging. They're a Korean brand. This is their brightening Panda's Dream Brightening Eye Base. I love using it. They have super cute packaging. And, because, again, we're going to be real here, so I'll probably say that a lot. We're going to be real. The dark circles at this point are tattooed permanently on my face. It doesn't matter how much water I drink or how much sleep I get. They're there. It's, any mom will, it's real. And going back with my brows, what I did to set them, I just used the CoverGirl Clear Mascara. I just set that with it. Let me get some of my other things closer to me. I really don't have an idea of what I want to do for an eye look. Let me just grab a quick palette. I have this right there. Sure. I'm going to use the Tarte Maneater palette. This is their original palette. Just some nice neutrals, some shimmers. I'll probably just do that today. A little bit of a warm eye look, hopefully. So what we've been up to lately. Holy cow. Well, to sum it up, we have moved twice. We moved twice in 6 months. If you've joined me before, you know we were a military family, or well, now we were a military family. My husband Brad, unexpectedly but recently, retired from the military. We were not expecting that. I did not want to leave. I mean, I'm not a native Californian. We were there. That was our second time at that duty station. I'm not a native Californian, but we were there again. That was our second time there, but we were there that time for 5 years. And I firmly believe, you bloom where you're planted. So, and your happiness is a choice, and for the most part, you can always change your attitude. Your attitude is a choice. Like, side story. Sorry if I squirrel out, you guys. I am sorry. I have ADD and my meds haven't kicked in yet. So if I'm all over the place, at least I gave you a fair warning. So I have my daughter, my oldest daughter. She had one of her basketball coaches that she had several years ago. And I love this piece of advice that she gave the girls on the basketball team. She's like, there are two things that you can control. And this, I know she was relating this to basketball, but I love creating, I think it applies to life as well. There are two things that you can control: your attitude and your hustle. And I honestly, I very firmly believe that. So I love that. I mean, yes, you can have, everyone has a bad day, kids, adults, all that stuff. But are you going to let that ruin the whole rest of your day? So I try and instill that in my children, just so they, again, everyone can have a bad day. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's your attitude towards the rest of the day. Are you going to let that dampen the entire thing? Are you going to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and, keep pushing on for the rest of the day? Reset, take 5 minutes, breathe. It's okay. But anyway, we'll get off that soapbox. I am just blending some of this into my crease, just trying to warm my eyes up a little bit. But anyway, like I said, so we've moved twice. We were in Southern California. We're not Californians, but we're, that's where the military sent us. We're originally from the Pacific Northwest. And like I said, it was an unexpected military retirement. We thought we had at least another, 5-6 years or so before retirement, but my husband ended up getting attached with an infantry unit, and he's like, well, if I'm gonna be, hitting the dirt again with the grunts, let me go get my foot checked out. And they, hey, sorry, bro, you got osteoarthritis in both feet. So, it was a health or career choice. So he's like, well, if I want to be able to walk and without the assistance of a cane, sooner rather than, if it was like, I think the doctor said, you want to use a cane at 45 or 65. So it was a health choice, and that's, obviously that's what was meant to happen, and that's okay. And so he applied for, and, so anyway, so we we'll get to the applying for jobs here in a second. So we, put our house up for sale. We actually bought that the first time we were in California, because we really liked the area. We were fortunate enough while we were overseas to rent the house out for a majority of the time. And, then we lived in it for the 5 years that we were back, and we were able to put the house up for sale, and it sold very quickly. We're talking in a day. Our real estate agent was like, I told you I'd sell your house. I'm like, holy cow. Yeah, you were right. So thank you, Melissa. She did a great job. seriously, we listed the house on a Sunday night. We had 3 showings on Monday and had an offer. So I was like, wow, that happened. Okay. So we were fortunate enough to get on the list for base housing. And we lived on the base for about a little over 2 months. Because we weren't sure what was happening, you know, with military stuff, it's more hurry up and wait. So we weren't sure what was happening with his retirement and stuff like that. So we living on base, and it was summertime, so the kids weren't missing any school. I mean, I know 2020 was crazy for everybody in California. As far as I know, they're still on distance education. So the kids they started the school year back up with distance education in was it late August, and we ended up moving in end of September. Like I said, I did not want to go. I absolutely loved my job. I mean, I still do. I miss it every day. I still have some really good friends that I made while I was there, and those are forever friendships. And so I don't give up friendships that easily. So I'm one of those people. So we moved. We were base housing, and Brad applied, interviewed, and got like the first job out of the gate, which our luck was like, that just doesn't happen. So it really, really, really just took me especially by surprise. I did not expect for any of that to happen as fast as it did. So like I said, that really surprised me. The kids, I'm just a mess here. The kids didn't want to move. We'd been in California that time for 5 years, and that was home. And it was a very, very hard decision for me, particularly, to leave, because like I said, I loved my job. It wasn't just a job. It was a change in careers. I had been doing the retail thing for a very long time, because that's what was available. Sorry, it's really hard to talk into your eyeliner. The retail was, it was what was available, and it was what I was able to do with having such small children. When I went back to work, I was very fortunate to be able to stay home with the kids when they were really little. That was never really in our plans to have me stay home. I've always had a job, and I have never had a problem having to work. But when we were first in California and I was working, this just dates me. This was in the 2006 time frame, and the pay was not that great, whether you're working in town or especially on the base, because at the time the base wasn't matching the state minimum wage. So you could work at the gas station or something, and you'd only be making like $4 or $5 an hour. So because it's a base, they didn't have to match the state, at least to my understanding. And so I was like, and looking at it. So, my husband was deployed when our oldest was born, and had her back home, and just talking to him. Sorry, I have to finish doing this. Sorry. This eye is just not going to turn out. Talking with my husband about it, it wasn't going to be worth paying someone else to. Sorry, I'm just going to scoot a little bit closer. It just wasn't going to be worth paying someone else to raise our child. It just wasn't. So sorry guys, I'm just having a really hard time with these angles. yeah, so just like I said, it just wasn't going to be worth paying someone else to raise our kid. You know, because I'd have to, you know, I'd be working, have to work full time, and then have to, you know, most of my paycheck would go towards daycare, and it just wasn't going to be worth it. So we agreed that as long as we could financially, you know, as long as we could afford it, I would stay home. And I never thought that that would be for me because, like I said, I'd always had a job. But obviously, you know, once that little person, and everyone feels different, that is totally okay. But once that little person arrived, I was like, no, yeah, I love being home with her. So I'm gonna let the eyeliner dry before I go in and put curl my lashes. So while we're doing that, I guess I'm gonna line my lips. This is the, again, NYX. I love their products. This is the NYX Wonder Pencil. This, I have two different shades here. This is the shade medium, and then I also have light. And I, before I ever do like a lipstick, I like to line my lips with this so it doesn't feather out and bleed, if you guys ever have that problem. But I take the medium shade and I put that under my lips, or just under that lip, to kind of cast a shadow, because I feel like I have thinner lips, and it's just something that's always bothered me. And then I will take the lighter shade, because, you know, the darker shades, it pulls it back, it makes it look a little plumper. And then I take the lighter shade and go around the rest of the lip. It's like a precursor to the lip liner. So I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna look a little crazy here for a while, like I have like a really light milk mustache. So while I do that, yeah, we're gonna do foundation. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator Tinted Skin Veil. This has hyaluronic acid in it, and it's oil-free. It's a sheer to medium coverage. And this is in the shade Light. So I am just gonna put a little bit of this on the back of my hand. Ooh, that's probably more than I definitely need. And I'm just gonna buff this into the skin with my brush here. Yeah, I definitely grabbed too much, but this is what, I guess we're just gonna go with it. This is what we have for today. And that's okay. I don't typically like using a brush, but what I've found actually lately is I'll take the brush and I'll just to kind of slap it all on, get it on quickly. And then I will take a sponge, a beauty blender, or whatever kind of sponge I have, and I have a bunch. I have like started up my own little collection. I have a cute little glass jar with all my sponges, and I just whatever. Some of the brush, there's not the brushes. The sponges are a little more dense, and so just kind of whatever I'm feeling that day. If I want a little more. If I want a lighter application, then I'll use a lighter feeling sponge. Like the orange one is the Real Techniques sponge. That one's nice and light. So I just blend this into the ear, go down the neck a little bit. We don't want that demarcation line like those of us that are 30 and up used to have when we first started wearing makeup in, you know, junior high, high school. So I just kind of slap that on, and I'm going to take a makeup wipe, or half of a makeup wipe actually. I don't need to use the whole thing. And use that to kind of wipe off the rest of the foundation off the back of my hand. These are the sensitive cleansing wipes. These are just from Walmart. This is the Equate Walmart brand. Not sponsored, guys, I promise. There we go. Usually, like I said, I got way too much foundation today. So it's sitting on the back of my hand, and knowing me, I'll end up smearing it somewhere. Anyways, so like I said, Brad ended up, so like I said, I'm everywhere. So please bear with me. So like I said, Brad ended up applying, interviewing, and getting the first job out of the gate, which again, just does not happen to us. And he took the opportunity to come visit the location and also look for houses. And that's out in eastern Idaho. And that is where we are currently at. We've been here since about the end of September, and it's different. I mean, like I said, we're originally from the Pacific Northwest, and so that's where we wanted to go, but the homes were just way too expensive for the size. We have 3 kids, and we wanted, obviously it depends, whatever you can afford, but we wanted the kids to be able to have their own bedrooms finally, if that's something we could afford. And my husband, he's in the computer communications industry, and so kind of having an office is a must. Whether it's in the living room or whatever, he needs a place to have his desk. He had in our California house that we owned, when we originally bought it, we were expecting our second child, and that's all that we were going to do was the 2 kids, and they'd share a room, and the 3rd bedroom would still be the office, and that's just how life was going to be. But little did we know we were going to be moving overseas, and and our son, our 3rd child was definitely on purpose, but we knew that once we were going back to California that we had outgrown that house. But at the time, the housing market just wasn't that great. And so hard to talk and do mascara. Anything on the eyes, really, not anything. But mascara and eyeliner particularly are really hard without completely messing up or poking your eye. And I'm using the Tarte Man-Eater mascara. I love Tarte. I love their products. Again, not sponsored, but I really do love their products. They've got some good ingredients. This is the Man-Eater mascara, and I love their mascaras. I really do. Sorry, I'm trying to wipe off the excess so you can see the brush. This brush has got such fine little teeth, so you can wiggle it up right into the roots. And then if you just use the tip of the bottle, you can see, if you wipe off the excess, I don't know if you can see it very well, it's rounded right here. So you can really go up this way, or even on your lower lashes, and just use that. See if you can see it, the end of the brush right there. So I really love doing that. So I'll do 2 coats of that. Every Tarte mascara that I use, I end up falling in love with it. The Man-Eater, I love the, I have a mini version of the Tarteist mascara, the Lights Camera Lashes. I think I just opened the, sorry you can hear the dogs, the Big Ego. I just used this for the first time the other day, so I haven't decided how I feel about it. It does feel very light on the eyes. So if you want kind of like a lift and separate, at least that's my opinion for now. We'll get there. So now that first layer is dry, we'll go ahead and do a second layer. And you totally do not have to do 2 layers of mascara. If you are a, one and done kind of gal, then absolutely. There are not rules to makeup. I mean, there are guidelines, but at the same time, to each their own. Some people will say, blue eyeshadow is a no-no, but if we're thinking, blue eyeshadow from the 80s, carried into the 90s like we did in junior high, like I said, anyone that's 30, or we'll just say 30, 32, 33 and up, you should know that, we all know that, that struggle, the blue eyeshadow, blue eyeliner, whatever it was in junior high. Yeah, that lovely 80s trend. I call it the Mimi from the Drew Carey Show situation. That's how I refer to it. But I mean, again, there's makeup, there's no rules, there are suggestions, but to definitely it's about how you wear it. It's the application. So Anyway, this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. Again, this is, I love drugstore makeup. I am not a, you know, I do have my high-end products. Like I know Tarte is not here. We're just gonna finish highlighting the face too. There's nothing wrong with high-end products. There's nothing wrong with drugstore products. Everyone has their preference, and that is totally great. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I go back and forth between using my finger or a sponge or a brush. So I just use this to buff it in initially, and I also kind of use it to help clean up the outer corner if I've gone a little too crazy with the eyeshadow. And I've been doing like a dab right here, a larger dab for the inner corner and a smaller dab, got a little too crazy there, on the outer corner of the eye, rather than doing the huge triangle concealer trend that was there for a minute. I'm just gonna buff the rest of this in. Because, I mean, you don't need all that much really. I mean, depending on the concealer that you're using. So I use what's in here in the inner corner, and I bring it up in here to help brighten it. And then, you know, and having the lightness right here, it helps lift the eyes, especially if you have more downturned eyes. So I just buff that in. I'm just pretty much, I feel like at this point, I'm just trying to hurry and like slap it on, kind of paint it on and do that. And then what I will do before I set it, I will use a smaller makeup brush like this, and I will kind of stretch my face out a little bit and roll the brush up like that to see how there's excess concealer on there. And that's basically, it's just getting rid of, and I don't do this every day, but I will do it if I have the time. And I do it because it gets rid of the stuff that's in the creases. Because you want to get rid of that before you set anything. Okay, sorry about that. Mom life, always crazy. But like I was saying, I like to take a small brush, and I just like to kind of roll it and get any extra, you can see it on the brush there, any extra concealer off of it, because like when you go to set it, you're going to be setting all that extra concealer. And the eye area is, I'm sure most of you know, is already a thin, delicate eye area. And once you start packing on stuff on your under eye, it really shows. And I know, you know, so my dark circles are gone, but the bags are real. And as I still wake up and my morning goes on, they will go away. That's just my life. I'm just using, this is the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Transforming Powder. This is Classic Ivory. I've hit pan, but like I said, I'm trying to do a no buy with a lot of my products. So like with my powders and stuff, I have a lot of different setting powders and stuff like that I do want to try. So I've already done my 2 coats of mascara. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's a fuzz. And I'm gonna switch mascaras, totally optional, but I'm gonna switch to this is the Tarteist Lash Paint Mascara, and I really like this one for lower lashes. Sometimes I do lower lash mascara and sometimes I don't, because if you think about it, it's when you're, something on my wand, when you're adding more color, or when you're, you know, darkening your lashes, you're actually casting more of a shadow on the lower lashes. And so when you're basically adding that mascara, you know, we took all that time to brighten it up, and then it's going to seem like it's counterproductive to go and add more shadow. So for the most part, depending on the eye look, but for the most part, I haven't been doing any kind of shadow on my lower lash line or anything like that to help keep it brightened up, because, you know, let's face it, I'm closer to 40 than I am to 30 nowadays. So we'll roll with it. So I've done that, and I'm just gonna take my damp sponge, and I should have done this before I set my under eye, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna pounce that in a little bit. just a little bit all over my face. And then I'm gonna take, again, because, you know, girlfriend here is closer to 40 than she is to 30. I've been into a lot more cream products, at least for when it comes to my bronzer. I don't really contour. I have a pretty slender face. So I feel like if I contour, it makes me look like Skeletor. So I really don't contour. But I will bronze. This is the Makeup Geek Angled Stippling Brush, and this is the Sonia Kashuk Undetectable Cream Bronzer in the shade Warm Tan. Yes, I have hit pan, but I love it. So I just picks up some of that. And, you know, I know when people contour, they kind of suck in their cheeks and do that. Well, bronzing, I go a little bit higher, like it's right in between between contour and highlight. So kind of like where your blush would go, but I'd put it right there. And then if you guys have ever heard of the, like the number 3 shape, that's kind of what I do for the most part. I try not to put a whole bunch on my lower jawline because I don't need to carve it out, really. But, so I just buff that in. And I do that on both sides, obviously, because we're not going to just do one side. But I kind of just carve out, do the 3 a little bit. And then what I will do, really cool trick, multi-purpose tool. Take a lipstick. This is the ColourPop in Bound, and I'll be right back. Oi! Oh my goodness, dog's going crazy. Internet guys here. It's a thing. Mom life, right? We're being real. So, like I said, I just buffed this in. And then, oh, that's what I was saying. My multi-purpose lipstick. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the, how you kind of like, if you're going to have like a warm eye, you want your blush and your lips to be more cool toned. If you want to do the monochromatic look, you can totally do that. This is the ColourPop Lippy Stick in the Bound. It is a glossy formula, but once I put it on my cheeks, I don't really notice it that much. So I just take it a little bit. So I really feel like I'm like in kindergarten and I'm just kind of face painting. I put a little bit up here just to give a little more color to my face. And you can use your finger. Again, you know, your fingers are your best tools. They really are, because you do get that natural warmth from your skin. I use the same brush that I used for my bronzer. And I just buff that in. Kind of smile, do the apples of the cheeks a little bit. Oh, sorry, let me get this side. I just kind of go back and forth, kind of depending on the lighting and how things are blending out. Sometimes I'll notice if I haven't had enough water from the day before that my blending isn't turning out as well as I'd like. Is it me, or is my foundation a different color than my neck? Maybe it's just the lighting this morning, because normally it does not seem that bad, but it's got to just be the lovely lighting that I have here in my bathroom. I don't have any, I'm not fancy. I don't have the fancy studio lighting or anything like that. So, so what I'll do with that, I do the bronzer and the blush, and then I will bounce everything in. So it all kind of, it just melts into the skin better. So again, so you don't see the brush strokes. I have a little bit of texture right here in between my eyes. I don't know if it's stress or hormones or what, but I have like a couple blemishes that just do not want to go away. And I'm trying to not pack on a lot of product, and now it wants to flake off on me. Lovely. And because I'm compulsive, I want it to go away. Anyway, we'll just move on as best we can. So I just kind of do that, and then sometimes I highlight, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on my mood. Again, I'm using a lot of drugstore products here. Obviously, I know like my Tarte stuff is not drugstore. I am not above to using, I think I mentioned this earlier, I'm not above using high-end or drugstore products. It's, you know, whatever works for you. Sometimes the high-end products are really worth the money, and sometimes they're not. And it really just depends on your preference and obviously your pocketbook as well. You know, it was kind of a reason that I did BoxyCharm was because I wanted to try some of the high-end products, but not have to pay the, you know, the high-end price. Like I said, I love Tarte mascaras, but I have a hard time spending, I think they're like between $20 and $24 for a tube of mascara. And out of all your makeup products, this is, you know, mascara is the one that expires the fastest because, you know, it's the one, you know, it's going in and out and it's going on your eye, and it's just, it's a thing, you know. And so I have a hard time with doing that sometimes. And it's, my husband had told me, he's like, hey, if it's a product you really like and it really works, do it, you know. And sometimes I'm totally on board with him and sometimes I'm not. Like, yeah, but do I need it? You know, the whole, you know, Marie Kondo, does this bring you joy? It's like, but it's not even, does it bring you joy? Do I need it? That's kind of where I'm at in life. You know, because I do have a lot of makeup, and we can go through my different palettes and all that stuff another day. You know, and I'm just putting some things away while I'm talking. So I'll put that, I just put my stuff away. I have my little vanity here. If I do feel like I need a little extra bronzing, then I will just grab a different bronzer and do that as well. But it's winter time here in Idaho. It's cold. It's like 20 degrees outside. So, you know, I don't need to have a super bronzed face because, again, it's winter time. So we don't need to look like we're really going anywhere super special. Most of the time I will do a lip. I haven't decided what I want to do yet today. So I might just actually, what are we going to do here? You know what I have? Yep, we'll do this. This is a Tarte thing. I got this off of QVC. It was cheaper doing it that way at the time. This is their Maracuja Juicy Lip. I think I'm saying that right, Maracuja. And this is in the shade Watermelon. And it's like, it's a lip balm in a stick. And you just click it like a fun little pencil. And it works, you know, it's a little more slippery than a lip balm, but it stays on really well. And it doesn't, you know, like I know the liquid lips were a big thing. And sometimes, you know, I'll still rock that because, again, there's no rules in makeup, but it can definitely dry out your lips sometimes. And I just, you know, your lips need a break. And so I'll put that on. And you don't need a mirror to put the rest of it on, you know, because it's a very light wash of color. You can just slap it on and you're done for the day. And then once you're all done with that, I set my face. This is a homemade setting powder. Or not setting powder, setting spray. It is just, it's half water and half toner. And then some glycerin drops, and you can get those at the drugstore. And then I always have, I don't know, I'm one of those people that put my earrings in last because I always feel like if I put my earrings in first and I'm putting my foundation on, I'm gonna get it on my earrings. And I really just don't want to. And are these not Darling? These are, oops, so I can hold this still. It's just a little leaf right there and a little honeycomb. My sister made these and I got them for Christmas. We do a family Christmas drawing every year because our family got a pretty big family. So we just do a drawing every year. And then I'll go and I'll do a second round of setting spray. Sometimes I just fan it with my face. Sometimes I'm a little bit extra. I do have a little fan from like a little local store that we got when we were living in Japan. So I'll just do that to kind of help things dry a little bit more. But that's pretty much, that's it, guys. That's a pretty basic face for me. Again, sometimes like very, very basic for like bare minimum. If I'm going out of the house, if I'm at home and I'm not going anywhere, then I, you know, give my skin a rest and I don't put anything on other than, you know, when I wash my face in the morning and do my moisturizer. But if I'm leaving the house, bare minimum, I will at least comb through my brows. You ever wake up and one of your brow hairs are just sticking up and you cannot tame it? So I'll tame that. I'll just take my clear mascara and I will just comb through my brows and I'll curl my lashes, do a top coat of mascara and concealer And obviously I set my concealer and that's it. That's my basic if I'm leaving the house, because like I said, those dark circles of mine are very real. So I have to, that's just a thing for me. So I have to conceal those. But other than that, you guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Be good examples to each other. You know, we all have, you know, we're our own worst critics. We have our own things that we always wish we could improve on. And if you were better today than you were yesterday, then hey, that's progress. And, you know, practice makes progress. Doesn't make perfect, because, you know, there's only one person I know who's perfect, but we won't go there right now. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Have a great day. And again, be good examples to each other. You know, we only have this one life, and so we need to make the most of it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk with you next time. Bye.